Nadhim Zahawi is sacked by Prime Minister Rishi Sunak over tax row after serious breach. Nadhim Zahawi was sacked by Rishi Sunak this morning for a serious breach of the ministerial code. The Tory party chair was forced out after he settled a tax dispute with HMRC, which included a tax penalty of £1 million when he was Chancellor. The Prime Minister made the swift decision after he received the findings of a report from ethics advisor Sir Laurie Magnus. Mr. Sunak wrote to Mr. Zahawi in a letter dated January 29. When I became Prime Minister last year, I pledged that the government I lead would have integrity, professionalism, and accountability at every level. That is why, following new information which came to light in recent days regarding your personal financial arrangements and declarations, I asked Sir Laurie Magnus, the independent advisor on ministers' interests, to fully investigate this matter. You agreed and undertook to cooperate fully with the inquiry. Following the completion of the independent advisor's investigation, the findings of which he has shared with us both, it is clear that there has been a serious breach of the ministerial code. As a result, I have informed you of my decision to remove you from your position in His Majesty's government. The PM was reported to have been livid with his colleague for failing to mention paying the tax penalty when he was appointed last October. There had been growing pressure on Mr. Zahawi to stand aside from fellow cabinet ministers and backbench MPs who claimed the affair was a distraction to the work of government. In the 4-page report, Sir Laurie said Mr. Zahawi, whose contact with HMRC began in April 2021, had shown insufficient regard for the general principles of the ministerial code and not fulfilled the requirements of being an honest, open, and an exemplary leader. He added that his judgment had fallen below the high standards expected by the PM. Mr. Zahawi, 55, later said in a letter shared on social media that serving in government was the privilege of my life and Mr. Sunak can be assured of my support from the backbenches in the coming years. He added, I am sorry to my family for the toll this has taken on them. Mr. Zahawi was engulfed in a row over his taxes while he was in charge of Britain's tax system as Chancellor. He was hit with a £4.8 million bill from HMRC, including a penalty of more than £1 million over his offshore tax arrangements. It was one of the highest payouts agreed by tax officials last year. A source said, in any given year £1 million would be a big sum for basic tax avoidance by an individual. Most amounts tend to be in the £100,000s, so almost £5 million is an extraordinary amount. The Iraqi-born politician, who is worth more than £100 million, insisted that any tax mistakes were careless and not deliberate error. Mr. Zahawi was blocked from getting a knighthood in the New Year's honours list after Whitehall officials contacted counterparts at the HMRC. The row centres on the tax bill following the sale of shares in YouGov, the polling firm he co-founded, worth an estimated £27 million. Questions were asked about whether the mega-rich MP avoided tax by using an offshore company. His family trust, Gibraltar-registered Balshore Investments, held a stake worth more than £20 million but sold up by 2018. Mr. Zahawi, who ran for Tory leadership last year, said he was not a beneficiary of the trust but records show money he owed to YouGov was partly repaid from Balshore dividends. Think tank Tax Policy estimated that Balshore's sale of YouGov shares should have incurred capital gains tax of around £3.7 million. Speaking shortly after today's announcement, Michael Gove said the scandal shouldn't define government. The Levelling Up secretary told BBC's Sunday with Laura Ginsberg, because someone commits a lapse or a sin, that shouldn't be automatically taken as an opportunity to damn an entire organisation or a way of working. Asked about a number of Tory politicians trying to follow their own set of rules, Mr. Gove added, there are always people who will fall short, whether it's in politics or other parts of public life, or professional life, or in any area. The PM is unlikely to appoint a new Conservative chairman by the end of Sunday, it is understood. The Liberal Democrats have called on Mr. Zahawi to resign as an MP as they seek an independent inquiry into the affair. Deputy Leader Daisy Cooper said, Rishi Sunak's first 100 days in office have been tarnished by endless Conservative sleaze and scandals. Serious questions remain about what Sunak knew about Zahawi's tax affairs when he appointed him. We need a proper independent inquiry to establish the facts and hold the Prime Minister to account. Given this was a serious breach of the ministerial code, Nadhim Zahawi must also do the right thing and resign as an MP. He has shown he is unfit to serve in cabinet and unfit to serve the people of Stratford-on-Avon. But Mr. Gove told Times Radio, I don't think Nadhim should resign as an MP, absolutely not.